What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. Time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we'll be taking a look at a series between Naniwa and Sen. We can see Sen spawning in the 9 o'clock position here on Abyssal Caverns as our green Protoss player. And then over here in the 3 o'clock we have got Sen as the red Zerg player. Yes, again, going to be a series here between these two players starting off here on Abyssal Caverns. I am very excited. Protoss versus Zerg, excellent matchup, and oh my gosh, every time I cast commentary now for StarCraft 2, I cannot help but think about the upcoming changes in Heart of the Swarm and how that is going to play into professional play. I am very excited to see how the new units come into play and how that's going to change the metagame. It's going to be crazy. There's a lot of huge changes coming for all three of the races. It is certainly a very exciting time to be a StarCraft viewer and player. Not so sure how thrilled the professional players are, especially since this is going to cause a major shift in their gameplay. I mean, with all these new units, tactics, and abilities that are available, there are going to be some big changes in professional play, and I'm certain, professional players, a lot of them, they live off of this. So having such drastic changes in something that you used to support yourself, kind of a little scary, but again, we'll have to wait and see how it ends up playing out and how professional players end up coping with the upcoming changes. I am most certain that anyone who's playing professionally now will be fine. They will just have to deal with the changes and how that changes their gameplay. Anyways, back over here, Naniwa coming out with a Forge Fast expand. Now, this is concerning, of course, for Sen, because if he does try to expand, he's got to be concerned about cannon harass. It is certainly a possibility, something that Naniwa can do. And you can see actually initially just dropping down that pylon. That's going to delay Sen from coming out with that hatchery, forcing him to attack it with the drone. And then eventually, once that spawning pool does pop, he will, of course, have to make about 2 to 4 Zerglings to come on down and continue to attack that pylon. Actually canceling it off there, Naniwa. Wonder if he'll be dropping another. Look at that perfect positioning, though, getting just in the way of the hatchery. Hatchery gets dropped, though. Very nice by Sen. Now, Naniwa still has that opportunity to drop down a pylon and do some cannon harassment. Let's see if he decides to do that. He's actually just moving back and forth, dancing around that hatchery, still not deciding to. Back over here, we can see that Nexus has been dropped. There's a cannon out front. Really, right now, nothing Sen can do to scout out Naniwa. You can take a look over here. He still hasn't found out where Naniwa is. He's not going to be able to make it in. Now, obviously, he will know about that Forge Fast expand once he gets to the front of that wall off and runs into that Forge plus those cannons. But still, not going to be able to see that transition. He's going to be forced to actually use some Overlords for some sacrificial scouting later on. Just going to take a little while longer before they actually get within range. Now, Zergling's fanning out and actually just bypassing this probe here, not even bothering to engage. He just needs to find out where Naniwa is and what he's doing. Now back over here for Sen, what does he have going on? Well, that spawning pool is up. He's got 1 queen coming out. In terms of Zerglings, sitting on a total of 4 at the moment. Here goes that first Zergling, just about to move forward, walking into the cannon. Ends up losing his life, but at least now Sen knows what he's up against. He sees that Forge Fast expand. He's now fully aware of what's going on. It's most obvious that he expected that to happen, but still, something very notable here as well. Look at that. There are destructible rocks over here at the high yield. This is going to be the natural third for Sen. Sen's going to have a hard time expanding there with that pylon. At the very least, he will be delayed and forced to engage with some Zerglings. So if Sen does decide to go for a quick third, it's just going to take a little while longer, and actually they're scouting out with the Overlord. He does spot the pylon, immediately bringing down some Zerglings to take care of that as soon as humanly possible. 1 Overlord right over here, and as you can see, he's already patrolled to move on over in that direction. Finally grabbing manual control of that, going to prevent him from walking into a photon cannon or anything like that. This Overlord should be just moving right up into this direction, hanging out on the backside of Naniwa's base, and again, he will need to use this for sacrificial scouting. He does have to get inside of Naniwa's base if he wants to get a good idea of what he's going to be up against. Forge Fast Expand, very popular on any maps that have a relatively small choke at the front. The biggest thing, though, is that transition. You really are not certain what that Protoss player is going to go for. So many options. You can go Robo, you can open up into Stargate play, you can go 6 or 7 gate level 1 push. There are so many options. In fact, already you can see level 1 upgrades coming out for Naniwa. Now, again, the biggest thing is going to be that secondary scouting as a Zerg player. Got to get in there, got to find out what's going on. What is that Protoss player doing, and what does it mean to me? A metabolic boost now finally upgraded there. We'll be actually checking the front of the base, and he is spotting that forge, researching. So he's fully aware of the fact that, yes, there are upgrades coming out of the forge, and that's exactly the type of intel that Sen needed. Unfortunately, we'll be losing his Zergling, not microing him back in time. He had him on hold position, I believe. Now we've got layer tech coming out still just on these two bases. You can see nice saturation going on in the main and the natural, fully saturated. He's also got an evolution chamber coming out with a few more Zerglings as well, just trying to allow him to get some map control. Proxy pylon down over here for Naniwa. Naniwa may be planning some aggression. One of those proxy pylons getting spotted over here by Sen with that Overlord, and actually Naniwa canceling that, realizing that was spotted. Zerglings will be moving down into this expansion, trying to spot that pylon, and just barely missing it, so not managing to catch that pylon. It doesn't exactly know about that at the moment, so still hidden, still nice and safe over here. We've got a drone moving down for Sen. This will be used to drop a hatchery, and even once that goes down, he's not going to be aware. And actually, wow, not going with the hatchery over there. Is he planning it elsewhere? Looks like he may very well be doing that exact thing. He might be dropping a hatchery over here or right over here. Very, very interesting decision there by Sen. Probably expecting Naniwa to check that third consistently. He's going to be trying to hide that third in a different position, and there you go. Sen decides to drop the hatchery right on over here. Zergling scouting out the front, spotting Zealots plus sentries. That transition, as I mentioned, so many options. 2 Stargates. We've got 2 Stargates coming out for Naniwa. Naniwa will be throwing some air units into the mix. Phoenixes and Void Rays, both very effective against Zerg early on into the early and middle stages of the game. Both forms of harassment can be incredibly effective. So, how is Sen going to be prepared? In fact, you can see Sen preparing for the possibility of a 6 or 7 gate level 1 push. As we can see, though, that is not coming out. Level 1 weapons finished. Level 1 armor now coming through as well. So trying to get some continuous upgrades as he works his way into that Stargate tech, and once he eventually gets that out, then he should be moving out for a push. Sen with an Overseer. I believe he did manage to get some scouting, and yes, he got just enough. Look at that. He did manage to scout out those 2 Stargates, but look at what he's got in transition. 10 Mutas just about to pop. In addition to that, he's also got some Corruptors coming into play. Now, during the early stages of the game, Phoenixes certainly do have the upper hand on Mutas. The problem is, though, if you're vastly outnumbered. At the moment, 2 Phoenixes in play. He's got 2 more being chrono boosted out. He's going to be sitting on about 4 once these Mutas of Sen do move forward to hit. We've got a couple more Corruptors coming out here as well. Also, the melee level 1 upgrades coming through for Sen. Sen needs to move in with these Mutas sometime soon, though. The longer he waits, the worse position he's going to be in against these Phoenixes. So there we go. Phoenix is moving down with just a little bit of micro, plus those Stalkers should be more than enough. However, the Muta's getting within range there, able to lay down some of that splash damage, but some nice micro by Naniwa. Just losing that 1 Phoenix, he's still got 3 more in play, and as long as he pays attention, he should be okay, able to out-micro those Mutas. They're just quicker, they're able to fire on the move as well, and really, again, in these small numbers, Mutas don't stand much of a chance against those Phoenixes. So, air control right now going to Naniwa. We're going to be seeing a transition here from Sen, deciding to mass up those Zerglings right now instead of continuing to come up with some Mutas. He does appear to be continuing up that tech. You can see back over here, he's got that hatchery trying to defend that right now. We have got a couple of Zealots moving down, a few units. We got the Phoenixes engaging the Corruptors there. That's not their best attacking, that's not their best decision of unit to attack, though. Those Corruptors do very well against those Phoenixes. They're just too heavily armored for those Phoenixes to be effective against it at all. Zealots trying to move in and do some damage, but really not enough. We got a couple more Zealots being warped in down here. A large force moving down for Naniwa. Naniwa is determined to take out this expansion, and look at that. The Phoenix is still engaging with those Corruptors. Again, really not the best decision. What is Naniwa going to decide to do? Will he be pushing up into that third or not? Looks like the answer to that question is yes. We've got a lot of Speedlings moving out. I expect to see some force fields, though, at the ramp, and this is going to allow Naniwa to freely take out this expansion. No! This is the force fields. Speedlings able to get right up in the expo and just laying the smackdown on the Protoss army. However, with some nicely placed force fields there, protecting the sentries from getting that surround, there are still enough units here to be a potential threat to this expansion. We've got a couple more Zealots moving out, turning around to engage those Speedlings. Sen trying to, what is he doing? He's bypassing with a few, engaging with some others. And again, he's still in danger of losing this expansion. Naniwa does still have an opportunity to take it out. There we go, finally force fielding down at the ramp. Speedlings turning around to take out these Zealots. Zealots just tearing through those Speedlings, but finally able to overwhelm. He's able to take them out, stopping the reinforcements. We got a couple of drones trying to move down to engage. We still have a sentry back here, force fielding any units out, and he's still doing a lot of damage. Naniwa being absolutely devastating right now in this attack, doing so much damage. You can take a look there. Sen losing so many more resources than Naniwa right now. I believe he's got enough for one more force field in just a moment. Very close there. Just needs that extra couple of energy. Couple speedlings able to sneak on in. He should be able to lay down a force field. Just 1 second. Is it going to come? Is he going to drop it or not? Using the Zealots as well. We got Zealots moving in from that other side as well. Very nice there by Naniwa, reinforcing just in the nick of time. Still hasn't taken out this expansion, but he has done a lot of damage, and he's gotten more and more reinforcements. His proxy pylon is really the bane of Sen right now. Sen has got to take that out. It's causing him to lose this game at the moment. We've got an expansion coming out over here. Zerglings trying to engage. That gets quickly taken out there by the photon cannon. A couple more Zerglings moving out. A couple of Zealots plus those 3 cannons will be enough, though. We got a couple of Stalkers over here, plus the sentries trying to push back those Corruptors. Corruptor's really not doing much of anything. We've got a ton of speedlings coming out, and this expansion is a goner. Sen will be losing this hatchery. Huge problem. Again, this proxy pylon, major issue this game for Sen. Now, Sen, sitting with a few mutas plus speedlings, will be trying to counterattack, pushing up into the 3rd expansion on Naniwa. That is a lot of photon cannons, though, to contend with. Now, he does have enough speedlings, it looks like, to be able to overwhelm that. However, I expect to see a warping or two from Naniwa, and that'll allow him to quickly take that out. Keep in mind as well, Naniwa's got a huge force right outside of that natural expansion. There we go. Speedlings moving down, overwhelming those cannons there. The mutas doing a tremendous amount of damage as well. He should be able to force the cancel over here, unless there it is, so canceling that expansion. But at the same time, back over here, heavy Stalker force, couple of sentries in the mix, lots of Zealots down there, and Naniwa is going to be trying to do a lot of damage. There's a lot of spine crawlers there. We've got so many Stalkers, though, and it does not look like Sen has enough to be able to prevent this from taking out his natural expansion. He's got a couple speedlings moving down over here, though, and he will be engaging this natural over here, and Naniwa is about to take some heavy economic damage. Back over here, still a bunch of Stalkers left, a couple of Zealots still in the mix as well. Sen himself about to lose all of the workers at his expansion. The Zerglings intercepted by the Zealots. Taking those out was huge for Naniwa. Naniwa is able to get back to mining, and Sen not able to mine, and this is a unbelievable game, finally calling the GG. All right, my friends, that was game number 1 here between Sen and Naniwa. We'll be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.